So I've held off on making this video for a little bit, but there's some things that I want to point out here now that we're into the new year. In the top right hand corner of this video, the dates I'm looking at here, something happening to DT on March 3rd, which is also Purim blood moon, the 2nd and the 3rd. And you can see here with time and date, they've got March 2 to 3, 2026 total lunar eclipse blood moon. And these are dates that Raw Repent has been posting videos about for about 6 months, if not more. And I've been pretty much on board with all his stuff. And like everyone else, Joshua came along and some other things were going on. And there were a lot of things to watch for going through Thanksgiving and, Hanukkah and Christmas and things like that, even New Year's. But this has really been my main focus, Nissan time frame, Palm Sunday time frame. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. So I already mentioned something happened in the DT here, potentially on the Purim blood moon. It also matches up with the Bank of America image that we see of the blonde boy with the burning bush that Raw Repent has pointed out many times as well. And then an April 11, 12 Orthodox Easter Rapture, which on the Gregorian calendar, is 13 days apart, and then the following day, the possibility of World War III starting. That would be Nissan 10. That's going to be April 12th, and I told Raw Repent in a comment that I was going to point out in my video a lot of 7.3s that I've seen throughout IPET GOAT for years and never knew what to associate it with, whether it be the day of the year or July 3rd or whatever. It's never really panned out on, obviously. And in one of his last videos, he pointed out this information here, and if you guys want to pause and read that, go right ahead. But it's very interesting that this time frame here very well could match up to the 123rd Jubilee, which is the 73rd Jubilee that he points out here, where we take away Israel's 50 Jubilees beforehand. So you can read through this if you want to. I'm going to get rid of this. I am going to get rid of this. And in 2026, the first couple of months of the year, we have some very exciting things. So we have the very first eclipse of 2026. It's going to be a Ring of Fire eclipse. That's going to be on February 17th, which is pretty interesting also because I remember a couple of months back, people were pointing out the 217 numbers for the movie Weapons. So I don't know if that has any meaning, but it might. And then we're also looking at March the 3rd. We have the Purim blood moon, lunar eclipse, and even further down the road in May on the 31st, we have a blood moon. So this is what's going on this year. A lot of exciting stuff. Solar eclipse, blood moon, blue moon. So do you remember Donald Trump mentioning that if anything happens to him regarding Iran, total obliteration would come? And this is a little blurb from AI Google, so you guys can read that if you want to. So that's always been in the back of my mind as a scapegoat, especially if they fake something with this guy right here. It would give him the perfect excuse to start World War III, and the people would be behind it. So let's get into this. I've got a couple little things down here. I want to show you some stuff here. And then we're going to go through these things here. I've got a bunch of stuff, but it's going to be pretty interesting. So let's see what's here first. Okay, so we did that already. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of this. So let's open this. Okay, so Heliopont, the logo, unscrambles to mean the final. And we do have a solar eclipse on the 17th. So is this the last solar eclipse before the big events kick off? Um, this year, January 1st, 2026, on the Gregorian calendar was 111, and I guess Nissan 10 could reflect the same thing if you look at it this way. We know in the Bible it says, before the great and terrible day of the Lord, the sun shall be turned to darkness and the moon to blood. We definitely have that starting this year. This is a verse from Acts 2:20 to 21. And if you mix these numbers up a little bit, you get 4:12, which is the day we're looking for. So we'll see if that has any significance. We'll go through this. Okay, so it is Purim blood moon. We're also going to be in the month of Adar. And from past videos from other people, we know that the deer in Leave the World Behind, and the one that's in I Pet Goat, and in lots of other predictive programming like Moving Knowing, and so on, there's always a deer in a scene where sometimes aliens and usually a rapture scenario. So the blood moon is between the 2nd and the 3rd. So is this where that infamous number 23 derives from? I'm not sure. Like, here's a picture of our friend here with the number 23 in the back and his blood red hat. So I don't know if that means anything, but that stands out. So we're going to get rid of this and look at this. So in the 2015 Economist magazine, we're looking at Palm Sunday, which is 329 or 923 Gregorian. It winds up being the Julian date of April 12th. On this cover, we see all these different characters holding their palms out. So it makes a little connection to this. And here, next to BO, we have this ghost character holding this brochure. And it says, Holy Day, Palm Sunday. In my opinion, that's what it's showing. So we'll see if this ghost character represents the dead in Christ or the rapture. Then we're going to move on. So I've got April. The full moon in April is in Libra. It's the pink moon. It culminates on April 1st. Okay, in Libra. April 1st being April Fool's Day. And I'm not sure what this is. I'm sorry. Okay, great. Let's get to this video here. Let me get rid of this. Okay, so when we start this video here, I'm going to show you a couple things and we'll bounce back and forth. So as this starts out, immediately you see the pink or blood moon, but I think it's the pink moon, the pink color on the gate. And as others have pointed out before, these lights here, you got 6 of them, and there's a 7th light here. But what we also see is a 3 in the ground, and that's a 7-3, pointing towards that Jubilee number that Raw Repent had pointed out, and I'm going to point out a bunch of them. So we're just going to keep going. I'm going to forward through this a bit. Again, we got the reddish pinkish hue on bush as well. And we're going to move it forward. Does a little dance. Sits in a pink chair. Turns around. Stop. Okay. So now we're going to get into a couple things. But we did just see that the pink moon is going to be in Libra. And here's this Google Doodle from 2017, I believe, which shows what could be. Let's watch. Be the moon in Libra. That's the 144,000 right there. So I don't know. I'm not sure if that is representing the moon in Libra or a second moon in Libra. I don't know. Or a new moon in Libra. I'm not really sure. But that stands out to me there. So I wanted to point that out. You know, this film here, IPG, is all about this guy here. He's everywhere in this video. I'm going to point him out to you as we go along. So we're going to dig into the meat and potatoes of this video right now. Here we go. Okay. So this is what I see. We see the evolution chart up top. Okay. He's got a pink D on his hat for the 4th month of April. Bush represents Trump with the D on his hat for Donald. His hat is pointing to the 3rd character with 3 remaining for 3-3. That will be the blood moon on March 3rd, if that's what this is pointing to. Also, there's 3 here and 3 here, so that's 7 characters altogether. And he stops short at the 3rd, so you've got a 3-7 here connection. And then you've also got the clock at midnight. So 7 pink characters, pink for April. Hat pointing to the 3rd for the 73rd Jubilee in April. We're going to find out. Clock strikes midnight. That might be connected. Trump is the hanged man. XXV is 115, and 115 is a lunar March 3rd. I want to show you that here so we can look at this really quick. So what you do is you go to March and you go to 3. So the yellow is the Gregorian, and then you just come over and you look. First lunar month continues on this side, stops at the 3rd, so it's 115. So when we see the 115, that's referring to March 3rd. And if you notice, right here in the front of Bush's hair, we have a 115 from March 3rd. Okay, so that's this screenshot here. I've got a ton, so we're going to keep going. In this video, they do show him getting taken out in several different types of ways. As this thing is multi-layered. So here's another screenshot with a couple different things on it. Let me just move this over. I'm sorry, guys. A little confusing for me. Get it out of the way. Okay. So here we go. The egghead character. It is going to be Orthodox Easter season coming up, or Easter season for spring. And I think this relates to the cracked head being his face. And it's just showing another way in this video of it happening. Here we go when we reverse the image on the chalkboard. VE, 45, 45th president, the regular way. We got a D, we got the J, we got the body for the T. That's your Donald John Trump. So he's shown there. We'll get rid of this. Here in the classroom, we've got this character sitting on the right-hand side with the 115 and the funeral flower in the back. Your 115 for March 3rd. Here again, an old ad for Sirius XM satellite radio with the same information and his name written on the wall outside of the classroom. Everyone knows about that. Then here again, it is the month of Adar between March 2nd and March 28th. And here is the deer that connects to Adar, the full moon in Adar. Trump is the 3rd character with an M, which can also be looked at a 3. So he is the 3rd character with another 3 for March 3rd. His exit, possibly. That could be what's being shown here. And then that's when he exits the world stage, because we see the room get dark and he's right next to the door. This looks like it could be representing both the blood moon on March 3rd and also the pink moon of April, when we expect major events to happen. Here also you can see the antlers from the deer, as if it were something protruding from his head on the right side where those dots are, where more than likely his event will take place. So I wanted to show you guys that stuff. We're going to move this out of the way, and then here's another confirmation. We've got a close-up, and we're going to do this too. We'll move this along a little bit. And you get the close-up there, and that's Donald Trump on his back right here. And here we see an L, which is the 12th letter, can add to 3. And then over here you see a 2 and a 1, and that's a 3 for 3-3. So another March 3rd connection. And we'll just keep this going a little bit here. Okay. See, and how he looks at this character here. So that's how I know it's very, very important in this video. So we're going to move along a little bit. Okay, I wanted to show this. Okay, here. Sorry, guys. Let me just make this a little bigger. Here, he's making his hand look like a G-U-N. But then he does something. He points to the shark and he points to the East Coast. And we'll see Poseidon here in a minute. But here's something I want to show you. When Bush is moving his fingers around, these are two images that I freeze frame. 1, 2. So going back to the 7-3, as far as the Jubilee years, that could also be another hint to that. And you see how he points up immediately after he does the 7-3. Does that signify the rapture? And then immediately after, the sharks, the subs, attack the East Coast. And it looks like a big wave comes towards the East Coast there with his hands. And as the DT character has been taken out, this guy shows back up, who I think is the AC. And that's his graduation cap, graduating from president to world leader. I don't know exactly how that happens, but over the thousands of in-time dreams I've watched in the past decade, I've seen at least 100 or a little more with this guy mentioned, and no one else really being mentioned. Almost 95% of the time it's this guy. Okay, so I'm going to show you other ways that they show you DT getting taken out in IPG. And then some very big, important stuff that you haven't seen before. Okay, so I think once DT is taken down, this is a scene that's a retaliation for what happened to him. And on these 3 Masonic compass and square military bombers, we see these lights. We have 2 purple lights. We have 5 red lights. So a 115. And again, 115 lunar is March 3rd, which would be the same day DT was taken out. Here they show it. Here's a better picture down here if you actually look. See how this is coming up? This is a submarine coming up out of the water. But it's also a neck and a person's head tilted back. Here's the chin, here's the nose, and there's the head wound on the back's right-hand side. And that's what I believe they're showing you here. Because when these things drop, what they drop 1, and here's another 1, and here's 5 in retaliation for another 115. So I believe that the DT event and this event happens on the same day. As this is multi-layered, I believe there's an attack, probably in Iran. I guess that's what this could be showing here. And then we have this character, Baron Samedi. So here we go. 7111. So you got a 7 on his face and a 111 for the 73rd Jubilee, possibly. And his eyes, the moon makes a 7, and the opposite, a 3 for the Jubilee again. And it also makes, if you look at the black area, not the white and not the white here, just the black area on both, it looks like a 2, and it looks like the outline of a 6 for 26. The nose here is an A for April, and then you see 1, 1, and 1 down here for 12. So you have your April 12th. You have your pink in the background for the pink month of April, the pink moon. And he's wearing a ring in this video, and it's a diamond, and the diamond is the birthstone for April. Also, he is wearing a daisy, and the daisy is the flower for April. So we're going to move along a little bit further. Now we're going to come down to outside the classroom, because I got to show you that. And we can... Okay. So we'll get this over... Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. But again, we see a 7C for 7-3. Is that signifying the 73rd Jubilee? Multiple explanations for what's going on here. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but there's a 7 on Obama's shoe. And there's 3 seeds for a 7-3 once again. So now we're going to go outside the classroom. I do believe also, and I've shown in another video, that Obama's nose here up close looks like a volcano, and this is the smoke coming off of it. And this is just the breath, the width of the volcano. And then you see the V sweat for, I believe, the Rapture, and also the volcano going off. If you look here, as soon as it pans outside the classroom, you see the house and you see the Poseidon trident. And I believe that's America and the attack that's coming on America. That's what that's showing there in the window. Something else that I find interesting is in the baseball playoffs, the Mariners, when they won one of their games, and they made a big deal out of this one, and the score was 7-3, and the guy's holding a giant trident. So I don't think that's by accident. So anyway, we're going to come outside the classroom really quick. And here we have Psalm 23. We have pink on the back wall and the light, which could be the pink moon for April. And then we have a 3 and a 7 here for the 73rd Jubilee. And again, the clock at midnight. So is that when this takes place? And I'm going to show you something about this giant tsunami here that I don't think anybody's ever pointed out. And here we go with that. Oh, I've got 2 good ones. Here we go. Okay. Here is a screenshot of all of that. So if you look and zoom in, you can faintly see it here, but it's a little blocky. But it's a 7-3. If you look here, you can see it. 7-3. And I made sure that I made it easier so you can pause that and look at that again if you want to. And here we got the submarines, in the water, the ones who caused the tsunami. So we're going to move that out of the way. And here's something else pretty cool. Right here. Okay, so this represents the second 9/11. It's one of the layers, but look at this. Okay. So, an iPet goat, the April pink moon, is in its waning stage. And here you see the number 13. So, and it lines up exactly with this. Right here. In an iPet goat, when you see the wave and you see the buildings crumbling, we have the same moon phase as we see an iPet goat. I'm sorry, I'm just terrible at this, guys. Right here. So 12th into the 13th. That looks like a match there. Is it going to happen? I don't know. But it looks like a match as far as this is concerned. Let's see what else I have here. I'm going to go a little further. Okay, so I have something for this too. For this scene here is the same as this scene here. There's 3 or 4 different scenes that show New York getting hit with a mega tsunami, and we're going to look at those right now. Here we go. Also on the chalkboard, I believe this is A31, and that's 1, 2, 3, April 13th, World War III. We shall see. So I'm going to get rid of that, and here we go, guys. Okay. So, sorry about that. Okay. So this scene here, this was dropping oil, little oil drops, and in the water is a 1, 2, 3. So I didn't point that out, but if you watch the video and slow it down, you'll see the 1, 2, 3, and that could be related to the 123 jubilees, less the 50, leaving 73 jubilees that I had mentioned. But anyway, here in the lightning, you see New York in the lightning. You have to stop it at the exact moment it flashes, and then you'll see the N and then the Y. Okay? This over here is a wave covering New York. And this here is the explosion in the water causing the tsunami. And see the rabbit here? Orthodox Easter is on the 13th of April. And here the house. We've got a lowercase n, and we have a y in the flame, and you got a 1 and a 3 for April 13th. New York, I believe, is what's being represented by this house. Okay, we're going to get rid of this. Here's another one. Okay, so this one here, you have the rabbit sideways. Here's the 2 feet, like the back legs. Here's the one front leg. Here's the face. Here's the ears. This is the torso, and the tail's back here. Okay? You could zoom in on it on your own time, but see the giant tsunami here that's coming towards New York? And if you squint your eyes, this looks like a H and an I, and I believe that represents Hawaii. And I also believe that the volcano that goes off later on in the video represents not only La Palma but Kilauea as well, and probably other volcanoes. But so this is all the same scene. Okay, so we're going to look at this. Orthodox Easter being represented, possibly. And then here, the statue is an offset clock, minute hand at 14. So if 12 o'clock is here, and 6 o'clock is here, and 3 o'clock is here, a minute before it hits the 3, it's on the 14-second mark. And then this is a 3, pointing at the 3 mark. So you got 3 and 1 and 4. So for 4:13 right there. Same scene. Here again. When the church crumbles, I believe that's the rapture. And the born-again believers won't be here for any of this. But here, I broke it down very well for you. And I can show you. Look here. U. See the U hiding back here? The S. And then there's an A back here. So I know that this is America. That's the Freedom Tower right there in New York City. This is a massive tsunami crashing over the city. Here, there's a lowercase n and a Y. You can see it here. And a CL for your 7-3 that we talked about, related to the Jubilee. And also, if you flip this over, you can see a hidden 911 here. So, and you've got your 111 for your Nissan 11, which will be April 12, 13. So we've got that covered. We're going to move that out of the way. Here's another thing that I forgot about. But yeah, even Draco has the 111 for your Nissan 11 when war starts. What else do I have here, guys? I'm almost done. So looking at all that New York stuff, I wanted to show you this. Here's something from The Simpsons. No sound here, so just watch. Global warming. We've seen that somewhere else before. And Lisa pushes the button. This is crazy. That's unbelievable. Okay. So, and this one is called The Wife Aquatic. Now, there's a little image floating around the internet of The Simpsons snorkeling underwater with the New York City underneath, but I think that's fake, so I didn't want to use that image. And so we saw that. And then this is also interesting. This is a screenshot from, well, not a screenshot, but Stellarium for 411. And let's see. On 413, the moon enters Aquarius. But I just want to point out this star alignment, or planetary alignment. Mercury, Mars, Saturn, the sun is in the Rapture fish cord. Venus here in Aries and Uranus in Taurus. So I'm not really good with this stuff. That's more Brother Dana and a couple of the other people on their own channels are better at that stuff than I am. But I wanted to point that out for sure. And then we've seen that here in the Illuminati card game, the global warming. And this is pretty interesting because if you look at the March on Washington card, in the description here in the card, it has the date of the Insur ECTION on 1/6 that involved Donald Trump. But here, if you look, you see the number 2, 2, and 1, and I wonder if that could be April 10th going into the 11th. I don't know. 4, 1. I don't know. But I wanted to show you the card. It wasn't really about the dates, but those numbers are there. If anybody has any ideas, please, make that known. Here's one more part in IPEC Goat. You can see a close-up of the dead boy, and it's an N lowercase and a Y in blood, and then also a 1 and a 2 for the 12th. So I'm not sure if that's what that means, but we shall see. And also, coming back to this again, I don't need to say anything there. Did I cover all this? Here's another picture I have here really quick. This is some predictive programming. Kim Jong-un, who I think is going to get involved very soon, and he's a very important part or piece to this end times puzzle. In an art installation, takes Trump out, and here we go, all pink lights, April. And here's another one, 923, their favorite number. But Nissan 1 is 239. I'm sorry, guys. I'm running out of gas here. But that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. So we'll see what happens. The first thing we're looking for is a DT event. However, I am also watching. Oh, I didn't show you this here. This is another part of The Economist. I just posted about this, but there's two more understandings that I have about this. So here's one of them. Did the two arrows give us both dates on mixed calendars? So 115, the lunar 115 is 3/3 Gregorian, which is March 3rd. The 410 date Roripent is looking for is the first jump to the Egypt pyramid. But here we got 11/3. 11 times 3 is 33 for 3/3 again. But I also think that this girl here in the emerald with a foot next to the ball for football, I think the Seahawks, they have a bye this week in football, and the following week will be a championship series, and the Sunday game falls on this number. So November 30th, 2025 lunar is January 18th. So that's the first event, honestly, I'm really looking for, but I didn't want to post about it because the schedule is not official until next week's games are played. So, but yeah, we're going to see. 329 Gregorian is Nissan 1. Sorry, I stumbled earlier. 329 is Nissan 1. And the Julian calendar, it's April 12th. So 13 days later. Unlucky 13. So that's it for the video, guys. I just wanted to show you what I had, and I wanted to share it with you guys. And this looks like a big year for some big events. Not sure, but it's looking pretty positive. Stay close to the Lord. Keep your lamps filled with oil. Put your faith and hope and trust in Jesus Christ alone for your salvation. He's the only one good enough. We're not good enough. God bless, guys.